So Don McGhan is currently White House Special Counsel. Now, he is the White House Special Counsel, which means he represents in a legal capacity the White House. That is not to be confused with being Donald Trump's personal lawyer. Now, for some reason, Donald Trump tends to think that McGhan, his entire purpose, is to protect Donald Trump. So there have been times where they have been at odds, especially with the Russia investigation. McGhan actually had spoken at length and cooperated with the Mueller investigation quite a bit. Now, that, of course, as I said, has put McGhan, the White House counsel, at odds because Donald Trump's a child and he thinks, no, you're supposed to protect me. You're my counsel. You're the White House counsel. And I'm in the White House. That's not how it works. It's the same issue that he has with Sessions. Sessions, you're my attorney general. Why are you not protecting me? Why did you recuse yourself from Russia? Now, anyway, going back to McGhan. Word has broken from Axios, who say that according to top White House officials and sources close to McGhan, that he will step down this fall. So McGhan, gone, making a McExit. Now, he will do so after Brett Kavanaugh is confirmed to the Supreme Court or after the midterm elections. Now, the timing is very curious on this. Now, if Kavanaugh is confirmed, then that means, A, the Democrats folded or did not win in the midterms, which you would leave on a high note, or B, the Republicans were crushed in the midterm elections, so Kavanaugh would not be confirmed to the Supreme Court. And more importantly, you're going to have a mess of investigations being launched by Democrats in the House. Now, that means that whoever the White House counsel is going to have a very difficult time fending off the numerous amount of investigations that Democrats are actually planning to launch against Donald Trump. In fact, there's a recent memo that was being passed around by Republicans that basically lays out the nightmare scenario for the White House, for Republican Party. Now, this memo is awesome because basically it shows that they are scared of what would happen if Democrats actually win. And there is a significant fear that there is a blue wave. Now, what investigations are the Democrats planning to do, or at least according to Republicans? Well, an investigation into President Trump's tax returns. That could be a serious problem. Not only that, looking into Trump's family businesses and whether they comply with the Constitution's emoluments clause, including the Chinese trademark grant to the Trump Organization, Trump's dealings with Russia, of course, including the president's preparation for his meeting with Vladimir Putin, the payment to Stephanie Clifford, a.k.a. Stormy Daniels, the firing of James Comey, Trump's firing of U.S. attorneys, Trump's proposed transgender ban for the military, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin's business dealings, that's very interesting, White House staff's personal email use. Butter emails. Now it's, but their emails. Oh, awesome. Cabinet Secretary travel, office expenses, and other misused perks. That, of course, going back to some of the other scandals by Trump administration staffers or former Trump administration staffers. Discussion of classified information at Mar-a-Lago. Jared Kushner's ethics law compliance. Dismissal of members of the EPA Board of Scientific Counselors. The travel ban. Family separation policy. Hurricane response in Puerto Rico. Which, by the way, a recent report has the death toll in Puerto Rico about 43 times higher than the administration had claimed. Nearly 3,000 people died as a result of Hurricane Maria and the Trump administration's terrible response to it. Ouch. And of course, election security and hacking attempts, which the Trump administration and Republicans turned down money to secure our elections. They don't care about actually making it so that people can hack our elections. And White House security clearances. So that is a list of possible investigations Republicans are afraid of. Now, look, this kind of shows you that behind the scenes, Republicans are in a panic because of the increased energy of Democratic voters. And by the way, a lot of these primaries that we've seen, you've had an enormous amount of turnout among Democrats. And look, you also have a lot of progressives that have won their primaries that are running on unabashedly progressive policies. Turns out when you give someone something to vote for, they turn out. And so we're expecting a high turnout in the midterms. And if that happens, oh shit. They are, look, they could be drowned in a wave. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it's true, if this holds, and if there is high turnout, watch out. Now, as Jonathan Swan notes, right, that potentially puts a successor in charge of fielding a blizzard of requests or subpoenas for documents and testimony if Democrats win control of the House in the midterms. And if the White House winds up fighting Special Counsel Robert Mueller, an epic constitutional fight could lie ahead. So with all of that, McGhan is like, dude, I'm McGone. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I am Mick out of here. I'm going to go work for the Trump campaign, and I'm going to make boatloads of money while the poor sucker who replaces me is going to be working his ass off. Now, speaking of a replacement, who's going to replace him? Well, McGhan has told a confidant that he would like his successor to be someone named Emmett Flood. Now, Emmett Flood is an interesting character, right? Now, he's actually worked in the Clinton administration. He is a Clinton administration alumnus who joined the White House and made a deal with the Russia probe. Now, Flood also, after serving in the Clinton administration, also served in the George W. Bush administration, second term as his top lawyer, who handled congressional investigators. Fascinating. Now, a source familiar with Flood's thinking said, quote, the reason he can represent both Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, because you would think that's a bit of a contradiction, right, is because he thinks that these investigators come and basically put a target on their backs, trying to overturn every aspect of their lives, searching for a crime. He feels that that is, quote, a judicial and constitutional hazard. So Flood actually would be a really smart pick to replace McGhan. And in fact, the administration hopes that Flood will be the pick. For one, he's trusted and respected inside the White House. Well, that's really, really important. And number two, I think the most important thing is that he actually gets along very well with Donald Trump. Now, sources familiar with their interactions say Flood has, as well as any lawyer can, figured out how to talk to Donald Trump. He has become the Trump whisperer. And we haven't had one of those in quite some time. Now, get this, and this is something that they focus on in this report. The president focuses his attention when Flood talks to him. Trump reacts to the authority Flood carries as a heavyweight lawyer, handling the topic that potentially poses an existential threat to the Trump presidency. So, this is really funny. And maybe it's wrong to say this, right? But look, Donald Trump he's an authoritarian, right? So when he, I guess, sees someone that carries himself more powerfully, right? As they said, he has authority and he carries that authority. That immediately gets respect from Trump. Oh, he's so strong. Oh, look at Emmett Flood. Oh, I have to pay attention to him. Here's my banana. It all comes to power, what kind of authority that you wield, and of course, bravado, right? How strong are you? That's what gets Trump's attention. So I thought that was really fascinating in this report, and fascinating the reasons that Donald Trump actually gives him attention. You've got to be strong. Now, they also say that the timing for a McGhan departure is right for both sides. So the timing is perfect. As I said before, McGhan, if Kavanaugh is confirmed, which I hope he is not, would leave on a high note after the confirmation of Justice Neil Gorsuch and the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh. Now, here's the thing about McGhan, right? So something that doesn't get reported a lot is how many judicial appointments President Trump has actually gotten and is actually winning on. In fact, the Democrats, Chuck Schumer, has folded on a lot of these lifetime appointments to the judiciary. It's a difficult word to say sometimes. In fact, McGhan ran point on Trump's record run of conservative judicial selections, which has endeared Trump not only to his base, but also to Republicans skeptical of his presidency. So that's why, look, McGhan is actually loved by conservatives and people in the Trump administration, even though Trump has been attacking him because, look, Donald Trump's a child, and he thinks that if you're not protecting me against Russia, it doesn't matter what else you do, I'm going to come after you, which is fascinating. It again shows how much of a child he is and how much he doesn't know. Now, another reason, of course, that he has earned the ire of Trump is because he's cooperated in the Mueller investigation. Now, that's something that Trump doesn't want. And you got to wonder why Trump is so afraid of the Mueller investigation if he didn't do anything wrong. But here's McGhan not wanting to get himself into legal trouble. In fact, defender of McGahn's, who has been an uncomfortable bystander, while the president has, according to Swan, torn shreds off McGhan, told Axios that McGhan did the best he could under very trying circumstances, and often had to bat back unreasonable and legally problematic requests. Legally problematic. I can only imagine what those things are. In that kind of environment, if I were McGhan, I'd be like, nope, not interested. If you think, I think it's bad now, dealing with this man-child, trying to defend him when he goes out and he says stupid things, admits to obstruction of justice on national television. No, not interested at all. No, if you want to put yourself in the firing line, go ahead. I'm not going to. I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to work for the Trump campaign. I'll get to that in a minute. Now, Swan notes, right? In Flood, Trump would get a White House counsel with impeachment chops from the Clinton years and little internal baggage. Again, that's one of the reasons I think, just looking at this, right? McGahn's like, oh, impeachment? We're talking about impeachment here? Well, if the Democrats win, that's a possibility. That's on the table. All these investigations are on the table. Hey, Emmett Flood, here you go, dude. Here, you can handle the coming shitstorm. I'm out. I'm fucking outie. I'm going to go make some money. In fact, McGhan has told a confidant that he doesn't expect to leave Trump world entirely after he leaves the White House. He privately said he expects to continue to be of assistance to the president through his re-election campaign, which seems to be a place where a lot of people are going to get paid. I mean, Omarosa was offered a spot in the Trump campaign. There were other people that were formerly in the White House that were also offered really high-paying positions inside the Trump re-election campaign. I don't know if that's a vehicle to make people keep their mouths shut. Like, hey, man, you work for the Trump campaign, you're going to get a massive payday. Just shut your mouth. What are they even doing in the Trump campaign right now? Nothing. But they're still paying people a lot of money to be there. And interestingly enough, somebody who's cooperated with the Mueller investigation and has right now earned the ire of Donald Trump is going to go work for his campaign? That's really, really strange. That is fucking odd. And so, look, I could get into speculation as to why, but I'm going to hold off on that. Overall, though, to me, it seems like it makes a lot of sense for McGhan to step away, especially if something good happens. And and that's relative, something good for McGhan, which would be the win of Kavanaugh, which, look, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in the Democrats to hold off Kavanaugh. Leaving on a high note, or at least leaving before the tidal wave of shit happens to hit the White House, if it happens at all. And then to leave that environment to go and make easy money instead of staying and face that onslaught of investigations and possible handling of the impeachment of the president. To me, it's a no-brainer. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.